You're very welcome.
You know, Joy told me I had 30 minutes. And if I talk about what a school board member does, who I am, and things like that, I'll take up more than that. So I'm gonna try to touch on some things that are relevant and then give you all the opportunity. If you have any questions, if you wanna ask me more questions and dive a little bit deeper, I don't have a problem with doing that. Because a lot of people don't really understand the importance of a school board member when it comes to the community. Okay? Thank you. It's good to see some folks from District 4, Mr. Nation. Hey, Brother Compton. He's not in District 4, but I do recognize some folks from knocking on doors during the elections cycle. So I ran actually in 2010. I ran against an incumbent that had been in office for 15 years. I can't even tell you how I ended up on the website, but at the end of the day, I just felt that God literally called me to do it. I ended up in a Democratic Party meeting, and on my way out to go to another meeting, the guy who was leading the meeting just literally stopped in the middle of the meeting and said, "Excuse me, would you like to run for school board?" I was like, I went on the website and was looking at the makeup of the board, you know, white males at the time. And I just felt like there was no representation, people that looked like me or even a woman. But, you know, I had a lot going on in my life at that time. Long story short, I ended up running in 2010 and was shy of the seat by 212 votes. And if anyone knows anything, that's just me. It's something that 212 votes. 212 degrees is the boiling point of water.
Right.
So I felt that God was telling me to give it another push, another degree of effort. So I went overseas and taught for a little bit in China, came back in 2014 and did it again. And as I went out and visited churches and things like that, I kept getting confirmation that this is what I was supposed to do. When I look back on the pictures and all of that, I just had a lot going on at the time, and I literally did it by faith. And God blessed me to be able to be elected in 2014. I'm now in my second term, my 5th year on the school board as a vice chair, and I'm thankful for the opportunity. I'm currently a special ed teacher for 5th grade, co-taught in DeKalb County, and I've been in DeKalb County for 6 years, but I've been teaching about 17 years. Started in private school, started a homeschool here in Douglas, in Douglas County, because there was a gap. I had, from the private school, there were children that would graduate kindergarten. So I was a kindergarten teacher for like 5 years. I really believed in giving the kids a good foundation. Kindergarten is the foundation, the springboard, and everything's built on. So I enjoyed working with my kindergartners. And when they would leave, some of them might have be advanced more so than what the public school, you know, where they were. So they weren't really challenged, and some of them couldn't get in the gifted program for whatever reason. Some of them were really young, but they were kept back in a particular grade because of their age. I personally don't believe in that. I believe if a child is ready, then make sure their foundation is good and move them forward. That's me personally. So my coworker and myself, we started a homeschool, All-in-One Christian Academy, in one of my parents' basements in Lithia Springs, and we did that. I worked with him for a year to get it set up, and after that, I think he kept it open for another 2 or 3 years. And so we have children now that are in college and just doing some really awesome things, and it's a blessing to see them grow and mature. So a school board member, what do we do as school board members? Some of the things that we do is basically we hire our superintendent. Some of you all know we hired a superintendent, I'm gonna say last year, he's going on 2 years as superintendent of our school district. We hired Trent North from Carroll County. He was a former commissioner of 25 years, and that was a really major decision. We want, as a school board, we want to be successful, and we want our superintendent to be successful. So that was one of the first major decisions that we had to make collectively as a board. You know, the demographics of Douglas County have shifted over the last several years in a lot of different ways. And so I have some concerns regarding that from what I see and what's coming when we talk about the gentrification in Atlanta. Because everything's spreading out from the center out into the outlying suburbs. And the thing is for us to be ready as an education system to be able to handle those needs. When we talk about social emotional, when we talk about academic, mental health, all of that, we want to be able to provide those services. And we want to have a culture to be able to receive the children. You know, if y'all familiar, some of y'all have children and grandchildren in Douglas County school system. We had some areas of opportunity when it came to how certain children were treated. You know, that looked like us, brown children were treated over time. But since I've been on the board, I know those are some things that we've looked into regarding ombudsman, regarding discipline and things like that, and those things have steadily declined over time, and we're grateful for that, and we keep an eye on that. I was looking at, I think that one of the questions that you engaged me with, Joy, and I'm teetering back and forth with what we do, and some of my concerns, because that was something that she asked me to talk about as well. And so disparities when it comes to the implementation of discipline is an area of opportunity, and it's something on my heart. I see it as a teacher, and I'm very mindful of it in Douglas County. Another area of opportunity and concern for me is, I want to get the two mixed up. We have the disparities in discipline. We want to deal with equity when it comes to the teachers, the tenure of the teachers. We don't want all new teachers in certain schools. We want a good balance of tenure as well as the demographics of the teachers. You know, we don't want all African American. I don't. Let me talk about me. This is me personally. This is my heart, and this is what I was asked to talk about as well. I personally don't want to see all African American teachers in the school. There is a synergy that comes when we live in symbiosis together. I don't believe we're called to live in isolation. There are certain circumstances that cause us to live in our communities the way that we live them. But I think that ideally what was meant for us is for us to live together, for us to embrace the oneness of who we are as human beings. And we grow and learn from those experiences when we do that. And so kids, in my opinion, don't have the opportunity to do that, and research supports this as well, when we are separated and we have homogeneous schools. And those are some of the issues that we have now. If you look at, what's the community off of Glenwood, the golf community, Eastlake. How they created that community with mixed development and have a mixed group of upper, middle, and lower class children, and they're all thriving academically together. So I'm just talking about the education piece. So that's ideal. Is every system ready for that to happen, for that change to happen? No. So a lot of times when it comes to decisions being made, we have to assess what is our district ready for? What can we handle as a district? So that actually gauges the decisions that we make and the direction that we go in. Change has been taking a long time to come about, but it's coming. So those of you, how many of you all are connected to the Douglas County school system, working in the Douglas County school system?
Connected?
Yeah, so prayerfully you all have seen some good change, some positive changes going on in our district. So some of the things that I've personally sponsored was a gun, schools, and safety forum, where we brought people together, people in the community, to talk about it. When it was, a lot was going on with shootings in the schools. We did that at New Mountaintop about a year or so ago. A few months ago, I had an event partnered with NAMI, the National Association of Mental Illness, was ending the silence. It was with middle and high schoolers, and that was in Douglas County High School, to address the mental health issues, because you all might not know it, but we've had children who have successfully ended their lives, and some children and adults in our system that have not been successful in doing it. So that's an issue. There's stress. There's post-traumatic slave disorder. You know, we're on Facebook watching these videos, hearing about these men and women getting shot. That affects the teachers, the adults, and the children when they see that all the time. Sometimes, even in 2019, they don't see any hope. You know, if they're listening, depending on what they're listening to as far as music, what we're watching on TV, all of that affects us. And we all come to schools with our own stuff, right? So the challenge is, how do we engage in that? So we hosted that. I did a It Takes a Village seminar of knowing and understanding juvenile and adult laws, school policies and procedures, and the procedural functions in the community. And that was something for the children, because I wanted them to understand how the school policies intersected with law. Because we have some children that become adults in high school, right? Mm-hmm. And you all definitely know about some instances that we've had where our children were considered adults, but they were in high school. and they got caught up because they were interacting with children in high school, but were considered underage, and what that can do and the impact that can have. So we not only have to advocate in regards to the laws and challenge the state and maybe even federal, but also educate our children. They're still gonna be children, they're still gonna make bad choices, right? But at least thing we can do is try to educate them. And those are some of the things that I try to do, educate. I fought against the OSD, and some of y'all might know, but Douglas County was one of the counties that voted, as a collective, voted down the Opportunity School District when the governor a few years ago wanted to take out the Institute charter schools and basically do the school takeover. So we've done that. Yeah, and that's a blessing, you know, to partner together and be able to get all that information. Like, we really came together and worked together in regards to that. And those are some things that I've supported. We develop policies and curriculum and a budget, and right now we're in the middle of our budget cycle. So we're working on that. And the thing is, we want our budget to reflect our morals. We want it to reflect our mission and our vision. So where we align our monies should do that. It's kind of like with our home budget. Our home budget, where we spend our money, reflects our morals, what we believe in, where we put our investment in. And so this past year, with our new superintendent, we invested in our children. So we reduced class sizes by investing in hiring more teachers. We invested in our curriculum, and we invested, put a lot of money in professional development. Some of you all know we've switched the, I don't want to say it like that, but we have hired new principals and moved some people around in different spaces to create different levels of opportunity on all levels. And we did a lot of it from within house. So prayerfully, people are seeing that, hey, I have an opportunity to advance. I have an opportunity to grow and to move vertically within the organization that they've worked for a long time. Those are some things that we've done. We oversee facilities, and we also we oversee facilities as well. So when we're talking about building the football fields and baseball fields and things like that, we put a lot of investment in that. And the prior board, we've all done that, and we've shifted our focus to education and children. Let me go to our mission. So as the Douglas County School System, our mission is basically to provide a quality education for all students in a safe and supportive environment. That's our mission. So we've invested, and so based on our mission, we have invested a lot into safe schools. So we put in the initiatives, cameras, and things like that this year, and I think they'll be finished by the beginning of 2019 school year, where you'll probably hear more about it, that we finished that particular project. But you all are welcome to our board members every first and third Monday. They start at 6. We have work sessions that are very detailed. When we're asking questions, we're being presented with presentations and information regarding the curriculum, whatever it is that's going on, by the different people on the exec board. And that's the one that I would invite you all to come to, because you get to really hear. And if you have some of our phone numbers, some people text and ask questions and things like that. And sometimes I forget. I'm in the classroom, but I literally forget some things. And I was like, listen, you got to remind me, because you know when you have to move from different spaces. And so my thought as a teacher is not going to be the same as a board member, if I can really get it. But my experience as a teacher definitely informs the decisions that I make regarding the school board. I ran on partnership, transparency, and accountability. So even as I'm here, some of y'all are just seeing me for the first time, and some of y'all saw me and didn't know that I was on the school board. That's what I ran on, being able to partner with the community. So the different things, these are a few of the programs that I planned. I've done that, and I partnered, we talked about NAACP. So if there's an organization that has something, that's doing something, yeah, let's partner, let's make this happen, let's bring this to our children, let's bring this to our parents. Those are the type of things I believe in. Transparency, being able to share what's going on. So on my Facebook page, I'm like, hey, the board agenda is posted for you all's review. If you all have any questions, comments, concerns, you all can really contact any of us. My schools are all elementary schools in the North Douglas area, further west into Mirror Lake and Winston. But The decisions we make as a collective, because our power comes as a collective, not as an individual. So if you see an individual on the school board, you know, that's an individual. I am an individual, but my power comes as a collective, okay? And you need a majority. On our board, we have 5 members, so it's 3 out of 5. We need 3 out of 5 to move something, to make something happen. Yes, sir.
Once again, being from Paulding County, I'm not sure how it works in Douglas County. One thing that I have found, and I work with the school board in Paulding County, is that several of the elementary schools, even some of the middle schools, have a problem with the children coming to school and not having anything to eat or lunch money to pay for lunch, and having to go throughout the rest of the day without any food in their stomach. And one thing that some of the schools have partnership with a few of the churches with a program to help pay for the lunches or breakfast, or to help fill that gap if the child doesn't have enough money. Right. As the board, is that a problem? One, is that a problem in Douglas County? Has anyone said anything about that in Douglas County?
It was an area of opportunity for Douglas County. Once we found out about it, as far as children or the parents not being able to pay the monies that were left, you know, for the, you know how they bring the numbers in, and if they have a negative balance or they owe, that was an issue. So what we did, our principal, and I can't explain it all the way, not our principal, but our superintendent put in a system in place where we pay those, so we get that paid. And we also have an app to make it easy for parents to be able to pay. And you all can see that on our website, okay, what that looks like. But we put in initiatives so that no child is going to go hungry. And
except for high school students.
Not high schools?
No. The high school, when my daughter's in 9th grade and I have a 6th grader. And when you fill out the paperwork, it does say that for the lunch. It says that no child will be denied food, and they tell you that you can have up to so many missed lunches or whatever it is. Does not include high school.
What high school are you at?
At Douglas County.
Okay.
Well, that's all high schools, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it would be across the county, but I just happened to go to Douglas, and that's what that.
I'll check into that.
I guess to go boomerang back to my question from what you're hearing. So that's something that the Douglas County board took initiative, because I like the way you said that you saw an opportunity, as opposed to putting that back on the individual school.
Oh, no, that's our opportunity. If anything that affects the children, that's us as a board, that's our concern, because the children are first.
Because then Paulding is falling back on the individual schools. That's something.
Well, you know, I've been to a Paulding County board meeting, and so I think that in that particular situation, maybe talk to your board members, because all of them, when they come together,
I'm going to the website. Like I said, I'm going to try to glean some information when I go there. I have a little.
But they do. You know, we look at each other and see what each other's doing, because we know each other. I know some of the board members in Paulding County, and I just was there like a couple of months ago, because I visit. I want to learn and know what are other people doing, what are our neighbor counties doing, and they do the same thing. The superintendents talk to each other, board members might talk to each other, and things like that to help each other out, because sometimes we have questions and we don't know the answers.
That's good information, thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, in that situation, so that's what I'm talking about. So if I'm out and people send an email or whatever, and there are things that's how we found out about it. There are different things that we found out about, you know, as far as buses and transportation for after-school sports. We didn't know about it, but when we found out about it, we were like, hey, we need to pay and provide transportation for these kids to go to and from these games. And that's what we did. And that was about a year or so ago. So I'll check into that. Yes.
I was recently on the United Way website and looking at the well-being of children. And I know Douglas County is one of the ones that they're doing the course. And so I'm wondering how your program is impacting the impoverished children, especially children in out-of-home care, you know, because they're considered homeless when their wards at the state. And so how are those children faring?
What I can do is I can get data. Any questions you all have that I do not have the answer to, I can get the data to support it, and I can bring it back to y'all. Because I don't have the data, but I do know that there are some of our schools, I guess I can say their names. Some of our schools have a high population of homeless children. Yeah, and some of them more than others. And in those particular schools, we might have food pantries, clothing pantries, things like that. We just had an initiative through our nutrition department where we're serving dinners. So we are definitely aware. We have breakfast to go programs where that extend the breakfast hours so that we may feed the children. And it's a win-win situation. Because our goal is, if a child is hungry and in the classroom, their opportunity to learn decreases.
Right.
But when we're able to provide them food, it creates a different type of environment for them to learn. And it also calms down their behavior. If you're hungry and you're tired, you're gonna cut up. Cause I know I cut up if I'm tired. I'm either gonna be grumpy or I'm gonna be off the chain.
Right.
And sometimes I just choose to be off the chain because y'all don't wanna see me grumpy.
Well, I guess the issue that's near and dear to me is my sixth grader, and even when my ninth grader was at Stewart Middle School, I live 1.2 miles from Stewart. I live in Avalon. School gets started at 3:35, and my daughter don't work in the house until 4:30.
She's right down the street.
Because of the busing. Last year, my daughter was put on a medication, and based on the time that she got home, she needed to take it at school. So I took it to the nurse. The nurse was like, "Oh, well, she can wait the 30 minutes." No, it ain't 30 minutes. It's gonna be an hour. The time she done missed an hour and a half. But the point is, I live 1.2 miles from the school, and she just doesn't get home till 4:30 or later. And then another concern I have is that the bus may not come till 8:15. School starts at 8:25. So by the time you get to school and she's part of the breakfast program, she doesn't have the time to eat. See, my daughter she's all about school. So if you give her a choice of going to the cafeteria or going to class, she's going to class. But I don't think that should be a choice that the little 11-year-old should be able to make.
Right.
But I know because there's been times that I've gotten text messages or she come home starving. I'm trying to figure out why, because I didn't have any breakfast, because the bus was late.
I have a question for you. With that being said, had you reached out to the transportation department and or the principal?
I have reached out to the principal several times, and the response always is what? We don't have enough drivers.
And did you reach out to the transportation?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not done that because I want to stay nice.
Listening, so sometimes I use terms that I use with my children. I said listening ears, so don't take it personal, that's just me. These are my cards, y'all, and any extra joy you can keep.
Okay.
But I'll take this back, but there, and on the back of it, tells you all the chain of command. Sometimes stuff just comes to us, right? And if it comes to us, I'm gonna, refer it to whoever. So that's what I'm gonna do with this, because I'm not sure how they route everything, considering even though it's 1.2 miles, there may be other factors that come in. We do have an issue with bus drivers. We've done some things to try to provide incentives to keep our bus drivers as well as to bring new bus drivers in. So this seems like this year that we were doing good. That was something we asked about. You know about, and some of y'all know about some of the issues we had to get in the school year, I see. But we worked through that.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I can show you text messages, bus number 273. God bless them, wherever they are. But almost every day, it says the bus will be late, 30 minutes in the morning, and also in the evening. Now, the issue is, right now, it's not too big of a deal because of daylight savings time. But our kids were outside in the dark.
Now in the cold.
So if the child is sitting outside in the rain or the cold for an extra 30 minutes, and think about it, you're sending me a text message at home, at work, or wherever I might be, and my kid is just sitting there.
And it makes you nervous as a parent.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I stay in the same subdivision as Avalon. One of the problems they had, was I kept calling and finding out because that bus operator have to make a second trip. They double the trip. So my question to them, what kind of resolution can y'all do or give us a confirmation? Because sometimes that bus driver, once he pick up that load, if it push him way behind time, he don't even show up.
Nope.
So the parents have to put all these kids in our cars to take these kids to school.
You mean so if the, okay, sorry. So it's running two routes, and I'm familiar with buses
Right,
running two routes because they're short.
Right, but if he's so far behind,
Yeah. He just like,
he don't even come back because the kids are sitting out there and we like, what's going
Where the bus
on?
at?
So as parents, we go to getting on the phone calling.
Yeah.
So what we have to do is, we put 4, 5 kids in the car, let's go, we take them to school. In the first place I go is to the principal, because that's not acceptable.
That's happened, that just happened this year, yours been happening longer than this year, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, because like I said, but this particular bus, I'm talking about 273, is this year. I think, so you text message as far as last week.
I got you, and then this is happening this year, has it been happening?
It's happening.
Just, it's been happening
It's been
over the
happening
years?
over the years
Okay.
and this year too. Like I
Okay.
say, it's just that certain bus, 273, what she's saying, and it's just a problem. Like I say, I did get a chance to talk to the operator, and he was like, sure, we doing double trips. You know what I'm saying? And I understand the compassion of double trips, because I drive buses too. But my thing, you got our kids out here. You know what I'm saying? And then for the school not to notify us, you know, suppose we didn't have parents staying at home, going to work late,
Right.
that's a problem, that's an issue. So all I was saying is, any way that they can notify us, let us know this, because like I say, you know, by us being a community that we just know the other kids, we just put them in our car and take them to
Right,
school.
got you. Right.
Isn't it something that the board, they could take to the board of education?
Our preference is for it to follow the steps, okay, from the school level to the principal to transportation. Now that it's here, then I'll take it to who needs to go to. And then I follow up to see, the outcome.
And another concern is child safety.
Yes, Lord.
They pack the students on the bus.
You have to stand up.
There's like, I gotta put you in my car with a car seat, and you only got this much room to bounce around in, but I got a whole bus for you to bounce around in, and you don't wear no car seat, I mean, you don't wear no seatbelt.
Right.
And the kids are sitting on each other's laps in these buses. Because you might have a big bus that's normally there, and then now it's broke down, so now you got a smaller bus, and the kids don't know, so everybody get on the bus, and the bus driver let them. I mean, whether she picking them up at the school or picking them up at home. But my nephew just told me last week how he was sitting almost on his brother's lap in order, and because they're brothers, it was okay, but you don't do that to children.
Right.
But you're saying that they have no, there is no limit of people,
The bus has a capacity, generally if it's a big bus, it's like 65 or
Yeah.
72, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, they have capacities, and we just purchased a whole bunch of new buses, so I'm
But
sure.
you ain't got nobody to drive. That's the problem. He ain't got nobody, I can't drive a bus, so I would help, but he ain't got nobody to drive the buses.
Any other concerns? Mr. Nation?
Yes, Ms. Simmons, I would like to know, is there a drug problem in the Douglas County schools, and if so, how prevalent it is, and if so, do y'all have any programs to address those issues or concerns?
I know that, we have Youth Against Violence with Chief Sparks. We have Brian Fortner was in our school when he was with the DA, and I'm not sure with the transition what that looks like now. But I can check. If you've heard there's a problem, I haven't heard that there was, but there's definitely opportunity to check, because we do have things that go on in our schools that we hear about that you all as a community might necessarily get a media blast on. Yeah.
Have you heard of Happy Crack? Have you, as a board member, heard of Happy
Is
Crack?
that when they eat the sugar?
Yeah, it's sugar and candy, and Kool-Aid mixed together.
Yeah, my kids do that at the school I teach at, and 2 of them did it about a month ago. And they were just laughing and giggling, and we didn't know, we were like, what's wrong with them? Like, literally, I'm redirecting them because they're cutting up in class, and I had to remove them because it interrupted teaching. And we found out later that they ate packets of sugar.
So what I had to do when, because came home, my nephew came home, he was talking about this Happy Crack. So I called the school, as soon as he said it, I called and asked the principal. I said, so what's Happy Crack? And he said, oh, it's this candy, it's sugar, it's not, he said, it's not a big deal. That's what he said to me. So what I did was, off the phone with him, I looked up some information on Google, then I called all the kids in it, and I had 2 boys and 2 girls. And the issue isn't you making the Kool-Aid and the sugar. The issue is you making the Kool-Aid and sugar and possibly putting something else in it.
Right.
So I felt like it was a teaching moment for my children, but everybody don't think like me, and everybody, it crossed my ears by mistake. See, my kids tell me everything, right? everybody don't have a relationship with the children.
Right,
Right, and like I said, the first thing I did was to call the principal. But when I felt like he blew it off, right? Because I'm looking at these articles, people in the hospital and comas and stuff, you know, because they're taking it from you. They don't know what your cousins, mother,